All right, welcome back to another episode here. Today, I am joined by Bianca. She's actually one of our CEO clients who even flew out to meet us here in person in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we live for a day. And she's been one of our clients here, in LMA for about 2 months or so, right, Bianca? How long has it been so far?
Yeah, I think we're approaching the 3 months now.
Okay, about
hmm
3 months or so. Awesome. So, what we would like to know from you specifically is a little bit about your journey, a little bit about who you are, and if you can just give the viewers just the high level 30,000 foot overview of who is Bianca.
Yeah, high level, Bianca is a digital marketer. So I started off in graphic design and just going to college and really wanting to pursue a creative life, and then having to pay bills, getting into retail and realizing, oh, this is really where the money is. And then wanting to basically just have my own business so that I can use and spend my time the way that I would want to with my creative endeavors and things like that. Um, I'm a big reader. And so what started this whole entire journey was the 4 hour work week and realizing that you can leverage your time and your skill set. And so I first started off in like e-commerce drop shipping leather bags. And then I realized, wow, there's a lot that you need to know to have a business online. And so I realized that the bigger skill was marketing itself.
So not
And
e-commerce.
right.
Like what so when you went into e-commerce, you wanted to sell leather bags. Can you tell a little bit of how your journey was? And the reason why I want to ask this specifically is because a lot of people who are, maybe considering either launching a digital marketing agency themselves or who maybe even want to partner with us and our, 8-figure team, a lot of them consider e-commerce or they're either in it or they're about to, right? Like all these Amazon FBA stores are popping up, all these Shopify things are there. So if you can share a little bit of your personal experience and why did you kind of like pivot from there to the
Yeah.
digital marketing area?
Yeah, so the what I started seeing was it all was the same amount of effort with regard to you need to find a niche, get the, targeting aside from creating, the branding and everything. Um, repeat, got kind of lost on a tangent here, but so um, what I started seeing was that I would be putting in a lot of hours, but then
Mm,
the return wasn't as great as I would have wanted because again, you're doing the same amount of work, and then the what you're getting back, um, depending on what you're selling, obviously,
right.
um, but it wasn't where I wanted.
What about like the investment side of things? Like, because I hear e-commerce, right, product based, versus like an agency, right? It's just service based, meaning like, like there's no inventory, there's no like management of those things. So I know dropshipping is a little bit different, but can you shed some light on like maybe some part of like the investment of how how expensive it is to run some of those stores?
So it is expensive with regards to finding with traffic and making sure that you are top of mind for people because a lot of the things that are available online are commoditized and people are just shopping around for better prices. And so if you're gonna do drop shipping the right way, selling higher ticket items would make more sense is what I
Yeah,
was trying to do because
right.
again, the effort is the same. So you want to be able to maximize the results on the efforts that you're creating.
Yeah. But with that comes like more cost and ad spend, more of like if
Everything.
so that's
Yeah.
just how it is. So got it. Okay. So when was this? Like when did you decide to say, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, right? I want to be an online entrepreneur." When was this and why what kind of like led you to that specifically?
Yeah. So I want to say 2010, like right around
Okay.
high school. Yeah. So I've been, and life is lifing throughout this whole entire journey. So I had my 9 to 5, going to college and everything like that. So it has been a long journey, and I have taken a lot of different courses to try and get me to the path that I want to be on, that I've been on now. At first, I was doing things myself, and then just getting courses and trying to go through that, and realizing that I wanted more, which is why I launched my agency, I wanted more hands-on help. I wanted to be able to go and speak to someone, and get feedback right away instead of watching a whole bunch of videos and then posting my question in a forum and then maybe getting an answer a few days later. Um, that's where I started off with regard to e-commerce. I don't know if you want me to go into like the different courses that I've taken
So
along.
you've taken a lot of courses.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go into it. Like, how have they
Uh,
been?
so the first one was Dropship Lifestyle.
Okay.
And this was back when they first started, and I know that it's thousands of dollars now to start, but both back then, I think I paid only $200,
Okay.
and the value was it was there. I was very happy with regard to the way that they broke everything down, and that was the first great experience that I've had with regard to finding knowledge outside of college.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that. Finding knowledge outside of college. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
because I went to a few different colleges, and I realized that a lot of this information was either outdated or just not on the path that I wanted. And so I realized, I need to find other answers. I need to talk to people who are
Yeah.
doing what it is that I want to do.
It's alternative knowledge, right? And like
Exactly.
literally what you're saying is I completely 100% agree. It's like the stuff they teach you there is like 15 years old. And the way things are like with AI, especially with, online, anything online, it's like it's light years ahead of what they teach us, right? And
Yeah.
people literally spend $100,000-$200,000 on education, right? And when I speak to, for example, some of my, maybe like relatives and stuff, who are kind of like, in that traditional ways of like, hey, go to college, get a degree. When I talk to them, like, hey, yeah, like for example, literally tomorrow, like tomorrow in 24 hours, I'm going to be in Cabo, Mexico. We're going to a 5-star resort because it's like, I'm part of a mastermind there. Just to get into that specific mastermind is $70,000. So 70K just to be able to get in. And on the surface level, most people would be like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Right. But then it's like, all right, in comparison to what? Right. If you have a college degree, people are spending 200 grand, 250K. I mean, if you look at some of these like neurosurgeons, it's like 400, $500,000 there.
Right.
Isn't that a lot of money? And then over here, it's like you spend 70K. Like I kid you not, we spent that 70 and I think we made it back in like 2.5 weeks of like just joining because we learned it's like the few things that we learned. And now basically everything that we're making is like on top of it. Right. So it's kind of like that perspective of investing, not only in your business, but also yourself, because your business can be maybe taken away from you, right? Government, whatever the case is, things can happen. But at the end of the day, the confidence and the ability to have that level of conviction that, hey, if I touch something else, I can turn that into gold because of the skill sets that I now possess. Whereas, in college, again, I'm not going to say, college is bad because, for some people it's really good for sure.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn like online, if you want to make money online, like there is no way you're going to learn things over there,
Right.
So like we paid, the guy we paid his name is Cole Gordon, $70,000 to be able to learn from him some of the things that he's doing. He does $5.5 million a month in cash collected, right? So yeah, we're going to Cabo tomorrow, and just wanted to share that with you,
Exciting.
Bianca, and with everyone else as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. And it takes a mindset shift to really understand that it's an investment in yourself. And putting yourself around people who are doing what it is that you want to do is really the best way for you to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So let's
Mhm.
pivot a little bit into, I know you touched slightly on this, right? When it comes to like your digital marketing agency. So you want, you started pretty much entrepreneurship in 2010, which is 14 years, right? 14 and a half years here we're coming up. It's a long time. So why did you decide to choose to be a digital marketing agency CEO and a digital marketing agency owner versus e-commerce or anything else that you kind of experimented with in the past? What triggered you to say that, hey, this digital marketing agency thing is the way?
What made me pivot? Good question. So I realized that I didn't want to be in the weeds. I didn't want to work in the business. I wanted to work on the business, more high level strategy. Um, and realizing that there are lots of people out there who are also doing it and can fulfill. So the reason that I went with launch my agency was because you guys offered the knowledge around that kind of structure, instead of me having to do the work because my time is limited. One of the books that I read was cash flow quadrants, I believe it's called. I'm not and so just being able to leverage not only my time, but then the time of others, and just building a business that for me makes sense more than
That's
just
that's
sitting.
key. What you just said is like
Yeah.
buy yourself a team in a way, right? So like they've already taken the arrows in the back. Instead of you taking them, like just hire them, right? And
Yeah.
that's exactly like what I tell people as well. Is like you can probably figure it out, right? Like you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out, but
Right.
it's like you're always going to pay for it, whether it's going to be in your time or it's going to be in your money, right? At the
Right.
end of the day, it's like we choose. We pick the investment that we want to make, whether it's going to be our
Right.
time or money. And sometimes people spend time, a lot of time into something which they think is going to work, but it takes them years and years, and not to mention just years and years, but it may take them way over the budget that they initially thought that was going to take them, or else, or the other option is just like, hey, just pay the experts. Like literally even today, right? Like maybe I think 2 hours before this call, we were on a call with a tech, company that do like, cause we're scaling now, and like we want to really make sure our tech is set up properly. So we were like, hey, let's just do it inside, like internal, right? And then we're like, wait, let's not do that, because that person, that employee that we're going to hire, or the contractor we're going to hire, they're going to have to figure some things out on their own. We don't want to spend that kind of time, or maybe
Right.
even more money than we would just in the beginning. It's like, hey, just pay the experts. Yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of money, but it's going to save us a lot of time and a lot of money long term, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
headache, right? That's another thing. Here's the thing. I have a meter for stress level and headache, right? There's a meter there, and no one talks about these things, right?
Right.
But in business, we unfortunately we only see the shiny things, we only see the success, and maybe honestly we're part of that as well, right? No one really shares some of the internals that we kind of go through, and that's one of the reasons why, like for example, like why we're even having something like this, putting it on YouTube, putting it out to the world to showcase like this is actually what it takes to kind of run a business internally, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, all that cool stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to chime in there as well.
No, it's absolutely 100% true, because at the end of the day, again, I mean, it's been a long, like you said, 14 years, and I, for the most of that, I was trying to learn all these things myself. But at the end of the day, I wasn't going to be the best at it. So let's
Mm.
hire the people who are the best at it.
100%. I read this book. I think it's called Good to Great, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, what they said, what one of the biggest things that I learned was a successful CEO. Like, how do you measure a successful CEO, right? Because like at the end of the day, they're kind of at the top, right? Like they don't really have that accountability. Of course, like their customers do have that, but they don't really have that accountability. So how do you measure if someone is actually a good CEO? The answer is, can they hire all the hires they make is, the people that they put into that specific role, are they better than them at that, or are they worse at them at that, right? Because a big thing is CEOs, right? Entrepreneurs, we have a little bit of ego, right? Right. So it's like very hard for us to sometimes say, oh, someone else can do a better job than me. But we have to be humble enough to say, yeah, there are people who can do, like, everybody's replaceable, including the president of the United States. So that's number one. Once we realize that, it's like, all right, like, how can we build our business to a level where it's going to continuously grow without us being involved in the day to day? And the answer is hire people who are better than you at that specific role. And you hire enough of these people, they work together. Eventually, it's just you're just kind of like sitting back and you're just watching them kind of go at it. So I'm curious for you, Bianca. I know you touched on this a little bit, but is that the reason of why you decided to say, hey, Launch My Agency is the preferred partner that I want to partner with when it comes to your journey?
Do you mind rephrasing your question? You're asking like specifically why I launched my agency, or just the
Yeah, like
journey?
is it fair to say that, kind of like what we're talking about when it comes to having a team, because you could have just gone a course, right? And a big thing of, for example, for Launch My Agency is we don't classify ourselves as a course or a course creator or coaches or anything like that. We're
Right.
business owners, we're building businesses up. So I'm curious from your perspective, was one of the reasons of why you decided to partner with us was for our team,
Yeah.
or kind of like if you can walk us through what was in your mindset, why did you pick us?
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. The reason I picked you guys was straight from the first call that I had with, I believe his name was John. Um, John, so prior to that, I saw your ad. I tried to do some research. I didn't really find much, which was a little concerning, but then at the same time, it's like there's so many businesses that are successful out there who don't have an online presence or whatever the case is. So I put that to the back of my mind. Um, and the day that I was going to have that call with John, I was going to give another company my money, and they were not necessarily a course. They were a little bit more hands-on, but for whatever reason, that didn't go through. My card literally did not want to take the charge. Like it didn't take my money. I hopped on the call an hour later with John, and we were on the phone for like 2 hours just talking about, you know, where I'm at. He asked a lot of really great questions. And the process that he put me through on that call made me realize that this is what I'm going to be learning if I partner with this team. They are doing the things that I want to know with regard to establishing what it is that I need. I let John know, like, I don't want to do another course. I don't want to watch another bunch of videos. And he let me know, like, you know, this is different. And so, on top of John being, you know, a great character and being great at his job, he was able then to introduce me to Mo, your brother. And it was just really smooth call. Any objections that I had, they were able to like just um very graciously like walk me through like, hey, this is this and not that, or whatever came up. And so I immediately they established trust with me. And so I felt very comfortable, you know, going in this direction because I felt like I was going to get the answers that I needed. And so far, it's been a great journey with everyone. The culture, I saw that right away that you guys are very like, uh, I don't want to say family oriented, but I mean, it seems like that. You know, really nice, close knit, and that's something that I want for myself. And
Yeah.
so it's just another reason to go with launch my agency.
Appreciate that very much. That's beautiful and amazing to hear. And that's exactly the vision that we had when we first launched my agency, was to not be like anybody else, right? And you know, when you brought up like, hey, your guys' online presence wasn't there, you told me that actually when we met in Scottsdale, and I was like, yeah, you're right. And you know, we're definitely getting better to that, but our main focus wasn't that, right? Because
Right.
if you look in the marketplace, we truly believe in like internal versus external, right? Like we want to be solid internally. It's kind of like this, right? A lot of people, if you notice, people like broke people usually wear the Louis Vuitton, like they usually wear like the really high end stuff to look as if they're, oh my God, they're so amazing and so rich and stuff. But like, for example, you know, where I live, like literally the CEO of Pep, I can see his penthouse right here. Like it's a vacation penthouse. So he comes there. But whenever I see people like who are really, really like wealthy and who are really at the top, they're wearing regular clothes. Like they don't have to worry about like their appearance, and they're internally, they're very, very strong. So that was kind of our philosophy, right? Of like, you know, we didn't really care too much. And especially because like the big thing is for us, we're not a course. So we don't just like give logins to say, hey, you know, here's a course for 10K, like here's just logins. No, we don't do that, right? That was not our philosophy. And still not. So it's like for us, we classify ourselves as kind of small, right? Small in the sense of like, you know, we only have about 40 employees, and you know, we just want to work with the right type of people. So we actually disqualify about 35% of people who want to work with us, but we're just like, hey, look, we may not be your champion based on a few things, because when we work with people like, and I'm sure Bianca, you can attest for this, our team is all in, right? Like they're rolling up their sleeves, they're getting into the trenches. So we want to make sure we keep the sanity of our people to be able to work with the right type of individuals that we want to partner with versus, you know, kind of like getting anyone on, right? So a big part of what you're talking about here is the other people who have that online presence. You know, I'm not saying all of them, right? There's definitely some solid ones out there, but a lot of times it's just surface level stuff, and their back end, they don't care about that. All they care about is marketing, sales. They, you know, they care about who's the loudest mouth and who has all these things. But on the back, there's like nothing there, right? And that's where a lot of the frustration starts to happen. But we're definitely, you know, we're also like now we're focusing in on that and on that as well, because we realized that's a big piece to this, right? People crave good information. They crave good, you know, they want to work with good people. So it's our responsibility, it's our duty to be able to provide that, to be able to give people, to tell them that, hey, look, like, you know, we're literally the best at what we do. And a part of this is like, you know, even this video is going to go on YouTube, it's going to go in our Facebook group, so people can see for themselves whatever they want to do. So yeah, our vision has always been like, we want to look bigger on the back end than on the front end, right? While it's the opposite, it's flip-flopped. People look so nice and amazing on the front, but when you give them money, it's like, okay, where's the delivery? There's nothing there, right? So we always wanted to keep that, keep the opposite approach there. So that's one of the reasons why our presence, wasn't the best there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised with my decision at the time because I'm more of a research and get all the information first type of person. But like I said, you guys had the skill set right away. I noticed that you guys had the skill set from speaking to you guys on the phone. And so I was very confident in moving forward.
Completely, 100%. Awesome. So I'm curious, like, overall, so far you've been working with us. Has there anything that's maybe like surprised you? Or what's like in terms of your experience with us so far, anything that kind of like caught you off guard that you were like, oh wow, that's amazing. Anything like that?
I think it was just the culture. Like from the first conversation with John, I'm like, normally I'm very skeptical. Normally I say no to people. Normally I feel like I'm being sold something and I don't like to be sold something. And I didn't feel that at all.
No one does.
Probably
Yeah.
like the worst route. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like it's
probably
just a genuine conversation, right? Like, hey, here's what it is. Cool. If not, no worries, right? Like, no worries either way. But I completely understand that the pushy salesman tactics of what you're talking about.
yeah.
Unfortunately, that comes from a place of weakness, by the way, right? If you're strong, if you know what you have, people will see the right people will resonate, will be like, okay, I need this, right? So that's kind of the philosophy that we've always wanted. So yeah, culture, we try very, it's one of the hardest things, by the way, for a company to do is to have a strong culture. And just like you said, a little bit of a family kind of culture. Like what we try to run here is like a family business, right? My brother is here, my business partner Christian, as well. We have a small, tight unit, and we want to make sure we maintain that not only for ourselves but also for our employees, our vendors, contractors, and ultimately for our clients as well. So that's the vision that we have. So cool. So Bianca, I'm curious, and I'm sure the viewers are also curious. Like for you, what's next from here?
Just continuing to get these leads and work on my own skill set with regards to being an actual CEO of a company and what that means. Kind of like starting my journey with, like establishing my authority online as well, kind of just putting my face out there and
For
really,
sure. Like you're crushing, by the way. 30, I think your first week of launching, 21 leads. And
yeah,
then your second week was 31 leads. And this
yeah.
week we'll see, I think on Friday,
Yeah,
we'll be
they're steadily coming in, and I was surprised by that because when it first started, I was in Colombia with my sister, um, and family over there, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't have any service. I can't call
Oh,
these people." So I had
yeah.
to pause it for not even a few days or whatever when I still like got back to the United States, but
Oh, so you had to pause it.
yeah.
Talk about
Uh,
that, guys. She
yeah,
just launched her ads, right? Like, I think this is the third week coming up, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I personally take a look at your ads as well.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, this is the third week. And by the way, for anyone who's watching this, is like literally our team comes in, sets it all up for her to be able to help her. Basically, it's our $1 million agency system that we've helped 300 other agencies, install, and also installed it for ourselves as well. So it's the same exact system that she's been able to get 21 leads in first week, 31 in her second, and she said it herself. She had to turn it down. Like, hey, guys, hold up. Let me get back to the US. Let me get back my service. And then I'm going to be able to, go from there. So that's beautiful. That's the whole thing, right? That's what it's about. It's like having a business where you're not stuck working inside of the day to day. It's like, let's work on the business and let's not work inside of it, right? So it just goes to show you brand new business from scratch, 52 leads in 2 weeks. That's insane. And this is a paid, by the way, this is not some SEO or, any of those, sorry, I was getting a call. This is not like some SEO or email marketing or any cold, kind of leads. This is paid leads, meaning like, she's paid for them and she's been able to get, these leads coming in. So that's beautiful. That's amazing. So where do you see your agency say in the next year from now? Like what kind of revenue mark? Are you looking at 100K a month? What's kind of the vision there?
My vision at first, I mean, it's not moderate. um, a modest, I would like to be at 50K a month, but
Okay.
I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to the skill set and then the just the business itself, because we do have fulfillment, the leads are coming in. And so if I can establish building relationships with the people who do need this kind of help. Why not help as many people as we can? And there's a lot, and especially the way that the economy in the world is going now, like there's a lot of need for it. And my specific niche is e-commerce because it's my background.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
so um,
Amazing.
so yeah, the need is there and I want to be able to help however I can.
Okay. So if you could give like one piece of advice, to anyone who's, watching this that you've adopted for yourself, what would it be like to kind of like get you to the level that you're at today? Like what would you think that would be?
A piece of advice is just to stay positive and put yourself around people who are doing, who have the results. So that way, when you do ask questions, you know that the answers are actual answers that are going to get you to where you want to be, and not just guesses. I think that's been the main
Yeah.
thing. Mhm.
Okay. So surrounding yourself with the right people. Um, I'm curious, like you came all the way from Florida. What city are you in?
Yeah. West Palm Beach, Lake Worth.
Okay, I don't know where that I've never been to Florida,
It's fine.
but
South,
so she came
Southeast Florida.
all the way from Southeast Florida to Scottsdale, Arizona to spend a single day with us.
Yeah.
What led you, like, why did you decide to do that? And I think at that time you had just like started working like 3 weeks in, right? Something like that.
Hmm. So yeah, so I'm big on like um synchronicities and energy and all that. And so I had already had it in my mind, that if I had the opportunity to go somewhere and get, whatever experience, I would. And so you guys presented that to me. Um, and I had the time, I had the money, and I wanted the knowledge. So I
Okay.
made that choice.
How was how did it go for you? I'm curious. Like
It was
overall, the
awesome.
event. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love being around you guys. It just to see in person, the culture. Everyone was very friendly, and the people that you put yourself around seem very genuine, very willing to help. Even the videographers were great. And then Electra was really accommodating as well. So again, you guys are doing great when it comes to culture, and that for me is really big,
Yeah,
because anyone can set up a business.
exactly.
That part is not hard, but when it comes to people, I don't remember if it was you guys or not, but people buy from people. They don't buy from businesses. And
Completely.
so yeah, and so you guys are doing great at just
It's
establishing.
it's all thinking long term, right? Like one of the visions that we have, one of our philosophies is even just like you said, even the videographer, they're contractors, but it's like we want to make sure they're aligned with our core values, our mission, and our vision of where we're headed as a company, right? So it's very, very important because what we believe in is lifelong team members and lifelong clients, right? We live and die by that.
Yeah.
So that's something that, that's where that culture comes from, having that high standard. I'm curious, Bianca, like I know you met some of our other top clients as well, right? Like these are some of our CEO clients, and then we had like our VIP client as well, VIP client 50K day that was kind of like, positioned around him. But also I'm sure you guys got a lot of value. So if you want to share a little bit of like how your experience was with other clients. I mean, even one of our other clients, Gavin, pulled up in a Ferrari to the event, right? Which goes to
Yeah.
show you like that's the power of digital marketing and having a digital marketing agency. And he also just started from scratch with us. So that was beautiful. But from your perspective, as a client who just came into our live event, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, that was actually one of the other reasons that I wanted to go, is just to put myself around people who had similar mindsets. And so I'm pretty young. I look even younger. So everyone around me was older, but they had their own expertise in whatever it was that they were doing. And then they were all putting their expertise together in the digital marketing space to be CEOs and transfer those skill sets into creating a business. And that was really cool to see, because they all had so much. Honestly, they had a lot of people had a lot of character, like Chris, Gavin too, and they're all just doing really great things in their own respective spaces. So being around that was elevating.
Amazing, amazing. I'm glad you were able to make it. By the way, those professional headshots are done. I don't know if I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at them, but
Oh,
we went ahead and like edited them for you as well, so you can use those
okay.
for yourself. But any closing thoughts that you may have overall, anything in general that you may want to add to the people watching?
No, just listen to your gut, go with just do it. I think I did a little interview that day, and that's how I closed it off too. Like, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Like, you're going to be at the very least, you're going to get a lot of not only knowledge, but you're going to be around people who really care about you, elevating you, and doing what they can to help. So
Is that what you would say to someone who's maybe like considering potentially working with us, and who's a little bit on the fence and maybe is on the edge of the cliff? Is that something you'd say, or you'd want to add something else to that?
I would no, I literally to simplify, I literally would just say just do it. You guys have the experience, the knowledge, the team, and the years of doing it yourself. So just do it.
Awesome. All
That's
right.
simply put.
Well, thank you very much, Bianca. I know time is very, very valuable. So not only do I appreciate it, but also the viewers watching this, I'm sure they got a lot of value here. So really, truly appreciate this. And also, I can't wait to see your journey. You're going to absolutely crush it. Like 52 leads in like
Like
2
3 weeks.
weeks. Like that's pretty damn good. That was for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been almost another week. So I'm curious to see like what the
Okay.
data is going to be there. But yeah, like it's gonna be a good one, right? Like truly like having a business of your own, right? Not only is the financial side of things good, but also like at night you're like peace, right? It's like you own this thing. It's like your thing. You don't have to worry about working for someone else and taking orders, anything like that,
Exactly.
you
And then
know?
just to add a little bit personal, like when you have your own business, it's still running even though you have other things going on. I have some personal things going on, and I was able to work with Mohammed, one of the closers that was appointed and he's taken on a little bit more just to help out with the leads while I'm handling my personal business. So like it's awesome.
There we go. Yeah, just use our team. Literally, like our 8-figure team becomes your team. And like name the amount of money it takes to have a full team. There we have a physical office, we have laptops, we have HR department, we have electricity bill, all these things. Like, but it's like, we just kind of like license it out or like rent it out to like just use them, right? And that's exactly what you're doing, right? Like, hey, I'm traveling, or like I'm going through some of these things. Can you just take some of my calls, and this is commission only closer, comes in, takes those calls. By the way, he was on our daily sales meeting as well today, and I was coaching him up. So it's like literally like, I manage the whole team, and like we work for our clients. Like that's the beauty about having this. We literally made this for ourselves. But yeah, it was really amazing, to have you on here. And usually, guys, whoever's watching this, we usually do these on Thursdays, but tomorrow, since I'm traveling to Cabo, won't be able to do that. I'm literally gonna unplug, like, we have like a day there. I'm just gonna turn my phone off. And just like you said, right, that's the power of having a business that's running on its own, that you don't have to be in the day-to-day. So, I'm just gonna turn that phone off and enjoy a little bit that 5-star resort. It's right on
Yeah.
the beach. But yeah, next week, guys, we're gonna come back with another client win, and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much, Bianca. We'll see you guys soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.